Okay, so take two, because I recorded this once, but I don't know what happened. So I'm going to be showing you how to convert fractions to decimals and percents. So my first fraction I'm going to be converting is 12 over 50. Now what I'm going to do is set up an equivalent fraction with the denominator being 100. I do not know what the numerator is. The reason I'm setting this up as a equivalent fraction with the denominator as 100 is because I want to know the percent. So the percent is going to go where the x is. Now, percent means for every 100. Cent means 100. In case I forgot what my factors are, I'm going to write them over here. So I have 2 and 50, 4 and 25, 5 and 20, and 10 times 10. Okay. I know that looking at my factors, 50 times 2 is going to get me to 100. So whatever I do to my denominators, I'm going to do to my numerators. 12 times 2 equals 24. So I have 24 over 100. Now to write that as a percent, since it's already over 100, I'm just going to write 24, my numerator, and the percent sign. I also need to write this percent as a decimal. So I'm going to say 24 hundredths because it's over 100. So I'm just going to use my place value. Remember, the 2 is in the tenths place, and the 4 is in the hundredths place. All of these are equivalent. They're all equal. They all mean the same number. The second fraction, this is a benchmark, so this is something that you should have memorized, which is 3/5. 3/5 is equal to x over 100, because again, I want to convert this fraction to a percent, so I'm going to have a equivalent fraction with 100 as the denominator. Looking at my factors, I know that 5 times 20 was 100. Whatever I do to my denominators, I have to do to my numerators, my top numbers. 3 times 20 equals 60. So I am going to have 60 over 100. As a percent, I'm just taking my numerator and adding the percent sign. And as a decimal, I'm going to write, using the place values, it's 60 hundredths. Or, since I can also write 6 tenths, because 60 hundredths, I can cancel my zeros and it'll be reduced down to 6 tenths. Again, this is a benchmark fraction, percent, and decimal. That means you should already have these memorized. 60 hundredths, or 61 over 100, is equal to 60%, and is also equal to 60 to 100, or 60 tenths. Okay. And then I'm going to show you this third example, which is 5 over 8. This is not a benchmark fraction, nor does it have a factor or multiple of 100, so this is going to be a little bit different. What I'm going to go into is straight into converting this fraction to a decimal, top in, bottom out. 8 cannot go into 5, so I'm going to add a decimal and a 0. I'm also going to add a decimal in my quotient. 5 can go into 50. 5 times 7 is 56. That's too large, so I'm going to do 5 times 6. 5 times 6 is 48. Do my subtraction. I'm going to bring down my 0. 8 can go into 20. 8 times 3 is 24, so 8 times 2 is 16. Again, subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. Bring down one more 0. 8 times 5 is 40. So 8 as a decimal is 625 thousandths. I want to change this decimal into a percent. All I have to do is move my decimal point 2 times to the right. Then rewrite my decimal and add a percent sign at the end. 5/8 is equivalent to 625 and 25 thousandths, which is also equivalent to 62.5%. Those are all equivalent fractions, decimals, and percents. All of those three things equal the same thing. Now remember, whenever you're converting a fraction to a decimal, let's just do one more example. Let's do 2/3, because this is also a benchmark fraction, but a lot of people are confused on this one, so this will be a good example. There are three ways you can go from a fraction to a decimal. First, divide. Top in, bottom out. 3 can't go into 2, so I add my decimal and 0 and my decimal in the quotient. 3 can go into 20 6 times. Yes, this is going to be a repeating decimal, so I'm going to go to my thousandths just to show you. Oh man, bring that all the way down. I'm sorry guys, I'm rushing, I don't need to. Okay, so 2/3 as a decimal. The first way I did it was top in, bottom out by dividing. Then the next thing I could do is, if I already had this as a percent, say I had 66.6%, to make this percent a decimal, I'm going to move it 1, 2 spaces to the left. So I'm going to sing my Beyonce. To the left, and it would turn into 666 thousandths, repeating.